Okay.
What's her name? Call me in 2 6 years old. I don't know how this shit works.
Fremont, I can call straight into the radio station from this number, so you go and sit back and relax. You know what I'm saying? Check out the show. Yeah. Hit somebody hit Daphne and tell her I'm calling straight in from text Daphne. No, you doing it? You got it?
She got it?
You want to tell Daphne I'm calling from Intellectual? All right, Fremont.
You know what you can start doing too, son?
What's that?
When you go live with your laptop, you go ahead and so they can see your neck camera.
Oh, okay. Okay. What's 477?
477.
No, 929.
929 477.
3785.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show. Destroy everything we be touching, leaving niggas no questions, and the whole neighborhood in pain. We bow our heads and continue to pray. We lock it low, staring at the end of the road. Lock it low. Ain't nobody. We gotta die. That's why we take it eye for eye. And it's do the bitches like this. You want got your back. Lock it low, staring at the end of the road. Ministers to calm down, bitch. And the police, and tell the bullshit. It's the war in the belly of the beast.
Takes that to this week.
Black life being lost to you cannibalize. Why you fighting over animal rights? You cannibalize. Say them like they hear you and let them rot in the woods. Leave them sticking up for bird food. It's cold-blooded. If we can't get a fair shot, we get 20 years to die rock. We strike and shit for niggas in the black though. That's what the crackers up with Pino. We'll overcome it. Ain't no motherfucking singing. You want drama, we can bring it. Look, I'ma say this shit one time and one time only. We ain't against all white people, but we are against all white people that's against us. Fuck all you motherfuckers. Lock it up. Fuck the major ass dog. Fuck
Glad you found it also. Yes, indeed. Right on. My voice is gone 21 seconds. Peace right back at you, sister. Bring me in, sister comrade. Matter of fact, you should do your Facebook Live too. iPhone. Fremont, I can load it?
Fremont, okay, is this you, Brother Chairman?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got confused on the message. Okay.
All good.
Look for the people.
All right.
Okay, can you press one on the phone, Brother Chairman, so I can bring you up? It's a lot of numbers.
Got me?
Yeah, can you press one?
Yep, we'll do it again.
Okay. And we'll be going live in But I'm just gonna unmute your mic.
Okay.
And then I got to scroll all the way up and then unmute me, and then I'll stop the music, and then you.
Okay.
You know.
And now they call it free market rap.
Live and direct, Brother Chairman.
Live and direct. Heads up, eyes open, and fist clench. Y'all know what this is. Now we do this. Let's get locked and loaded for another episode of Free 'em All Radio here at Intellectual Radio. Call in number 929-477-3785. It's a weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs, hosted by yours truly, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. and Robin Allen, a.k.a. the Lady of Rage. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's take history. So you're right on. Let's make history, take history, and take history. That's what it is, y'all. Once again, it's on. 10 times again, you say we serve hot food and hot politics, so we're gonna get right in. We'll get right in with it. Y'all tune in. Y'all know I've been off Facebook for a while, but we are live on YouTube, Intellectual Radio. Now on YouTube, Intellectual Radio. Also, the Field Marshal Geo's page. Y'all check us on Facebook. We on Instagram right now. You know what I'm saying? So y'all tune in, Cub in with us. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. The initial flyer had a number of things on it. Well, let me say this. My voice is gone. I'm talking about why my voice is gone. You know, just doing some struggles that we had to address the other day. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go into that. We were set to discuss about, and I know it's bear with us, better yet, Cub with us. Let's get my voice is gone. The weekly, the resolution that has been just put forward in regards to Paul Mooney. We're going to be looking at that, great comedian Paul Mooney. We're going to be following up on that next week. We'll be doing that next week. In fact, Councilwoman, our communication secretary, Carol Fife, and also we'll have Lunell, great comedian, and I just don't want to limit their legacy to that, just a comedian, but her bio, because there's a lot more than that. But we want to have them on about this resolution for Paul Mooney next week. Today, I in many cases I'm hesitant to go with this term, but for lack of better term, I'll go with the term anniversary. But I'll just say acknowledgement of the 100th year, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the massacre. There are many people have been referred to as race riots, so on and so forth. We're talking about, I think, approximately May 21st, June 1st, 1921. And this, like so many other dynamics in our community, is not in a conversation that people are not familiar with. And I take for granted that this is something that people knew about, but this is, and if you notice the narrative, whether it be U.S. President Biden or any elected officials, what have you, there's a narrative that's being pushed that do not let this be confused as what should be how America itself operates. It's kind of in the same in the spirit that when case of Derek Chauvin and Lieutenant John Burge, cases of atrocity with police are exposed. There's there's a narrative that's put forward that these are a few bad apples. This is not the modus operandi. This is not how the system operates. We differ with that. It's actually you would be better off looking throughout history to find cases when there were not Tulsa, Oklahomans. There were not May 13, 1985 on Sage Avenue, Philadelphia. When there were not December the 4th, 1969. You better off to say, find me times in history when they did, because this is the modus operandi. You know what I'm saying? It's the American way. It is the American way. It's it's the slaughter, it's the genocide that it was birthed on, that it's bred on. It should be, in fact, it should be in conjunction with the discussion about, apple pie, baseball. This is how it goes. And there are times in history when we can have the conversation, and we must seize the time, because like the fact that books for elementary schools in particular, and I'm sure higher learning, are authored right in Texas. That tells you right there. What we're dealing with, it's the importance of the narrative, what's written, So it's not by coincidence that the contradictions such as what happened in Tulsa, were not acknowledged. And even when it's out, there's a continuous attempt to hijack. Was Malcolm X, he assessed the March on Washington, the initial March on Washington. Malcolm X said when they can't stop it, they go to the co-op, they water it down, change it, make it something to be. This is the consistency with narratives about Tulsa, Oklahoma, consistencies with organizations, consistencies with the legacies of individuals. When they can't stop it, co-opt it, water it down, change it, make it something to be. We're live and direct, y'all. Y'all bear with us, or better yet, cub with us. My voice is a little gone, so we're gonna keep carrying on. You know what I'm saying? And I had a discussion with a brother yesterday, and he was talking about, trying getting these resources together. You know what I'm saying? In regards to the work that the Black Panther Party Cubs, work that the Hampton House is doing, and it's a time when other individuals who, pillow fight or play, play games with our struggle, who profit off of our pain. And some people say, well, they get the resources because they know how to write up the proposal. I said, no, we too busy fighting while they writing. That's the dynamic of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the deal is we have no other option but to struggle. This is not a college course for us or something. You know what I'm saying? Or just some phase we're going through in our life. This is real deal action. That being said, y'all tune in. Fremont.
The resources and one of the survivors of the Tulsa Massacre, 107 years old, when she was talking, and another lady that was 106, I believe, and her brother was 100. All of these survivors were in their hundreds, and two of them mentioned how the Tulsa Centennial Commission had raised over $30 million, telling this story, using their name and their likeness without their permission, and didn't give them not one dime, and they struggling, just to live day to day, and profiting off of their pain. And when they spoke at that commission, the hearing, when they testified, gave their statements and stuff. This is one of the things that they mentioned, that these people are profiting off of their pain, and they're sitting here, struggling and trying to live day to day. And here you are, with everything is good for you, and you done raised over $30 million, and then reach back and say, well, here's something. Here's a goddamn banana or
just even
orange, a piece of fruit.
Yes, indeed. That's great point. And co-hosting it. In many cases, that the position is that we should just be happy that we can sit at the table, or just to get a seat and to to be acknowledged. And this is something that whether we come regards, I mean, we turned even with the movie Judas and Black Messiah. Before that, there were propositions from Fox, ABC, and they were like looking at us like we lost our mind. We're talking about actually being on the set. They and they had all these bogus books from people who had nothing to do with our struggle, and 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 some people say, well, maybe people don't know, but it's so you can get it without getting. You want this sanitized assessment, and the reality is, I can't. The sister, 107 years old. What's the sister's name?
Viola Fletcher.
Viola Fletcher, and oh man, she talked about, as well as her brother. His name is, what's the brother's? Red Fletcher. I can't recall his actual first name. Yuma. And the nightmares that they still have today, because she was 107, so she looking at 7 years old. He was had to be at the most 1 year old he was, and the impact on their life now ongoing, the nightmares to this day, and I'm listening to her talk about the struggles, and then then just even the added insult. You talk about the commission having these hearings, $30 million, and that's just what's documented. When you hear these numbers getting out by the people, the resources people are garnering from of people's pain, these numbers are they're putting it lightly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even the extra stuff that goes along with it, and to this day, And she talked about, someone asked her, even an interviewer, and it's important where a narrative comes from, how you view situations, like people say, well, look, it doesn't make a difference as long as we get the information. I said, no, that's not the case. Look at the interviewer asking her, the lady that was interviewing her in one case, her and her brother, she couldn't believe, she was asking this child, who was then a child, who's 107 years old now, the interviewer from another community, a white person, she was like, did y'all get the pets? And the lady was like, excuse me? She couldn't even relate. People are burning and killing, massacring your family. And the question was about, did you remember y'all getting any pets? And this is the deal is there are different cultures, different communities, and so this impacts how things are told, how how you view life, et cetera, and I just really related, and there's so many untold stories, the pains in which are inflicted on our communities, and we don't even have the option to release that. There's going to be therapeutic to tell our own stories, and no one can speak for us. That's when we talk about self-determination. We can't even express our own pain. We're always told when someone can speak for us, and people say it doesn't make a difference. And I mean, the book deals, the movie, people have been profiting of that pain. And this goes down again in organizations, and even today with the anniversary, they brought all the usual suspects, the hobnobbers to come in, the dog and pony show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the terms must be put in, must be acknowledged. Brutal terms with brutal realities. But this is something this is a consistent contradiction. We live in that record.
Did you say the person that interviewed that was a white lady?
Yes. Well, no, one person, because the number of interviews. One interview that stuck out of my mind. When I recall how it was put forward to her about to asking the details of what happened, and she was like it was like offended that and that the lady was explaining about what they was doing about their family, and she recalls this, and she was the lady, the interviewer interjected, did y'all get the pets? Did y'all get any pets? So that was one interview.
And that made me think of, there's something going on now on Instagram. This lady, now this bear that's crossing, like going across a ledge, a fence like thing, a brick type of thing. And the bear has cubs, and these dogs come out, and the bear is trying to get across the ledge. The dogs come out and start barking and try to attack the bear, and the bear is swiping, trying to, like, I'm gonna protect my cubs and get out of here. And then the lady come running out the white lady come running out her house and pushes the bear, like, pets and pets are, they have a place in people's hearts, but it's not like that. With this atrocity that happened, this massacre, and you got the nerve to wonder, did you get the pet? Look, my mother could be over here dead. My father just got his brains blown out, and you worrying about a pet? You gonna ask me about a pet? So it just made me think, like you just said, it's different. What you see as valuable, or what you see as that has meaning to you. Even the brother, Mr. Hughes was saying that he fought overseas. He fought for freedom abroad, even though his freedom was ripped away from him here. And he talked about how he started crying. And he talked about how he couldn't get benefits from the GI Bill as a vet when he came back because of his skin. But he still believed, he still had some hope that America would, give them justice. He still believed in this system, like, we are one, and I believe, and he hoped that justice would happen for him before he left this earth.
This conversation is timely at a time when there's so much discussion about economics and importance of economics, and I'll be the first to acknowledge. I definitely acknowledge that because reality is cats need heat and cats gotta eat. Resources are a necessity. However, the deal is the question, the position, the dynamic of self-determination can never be negated. You know, we had resources in Africa before we were ripped off, and before we were ripped off and ripped off. You know, so the deal is that a question of power and that a question of self-determination. This is an example of people, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, I mean, going through the whole thing, doctors, the whole nine, you know, success stories, and you know what I'm saying, and at the wheel, you know what I'm saying. And I mean, you hear different stories about what was the quote unquote justification, you know, the usual stories, you know, alleged, a rape case. This is something that the system, the ruling class, you know, is known to tap into the psychic of those, you know what I'm saying. There are certain emotional jugglers, you know what I'm saying, whether it be a question of, you know, sexuality or resources. Those are trigger words, and people can dismiss logic. And you know what I'm saying, you see, you know, even in the movie Rosewood, you know what I'm saying, see someone rape someone, or a case of Emmett Till, they said someone whistled at the white lady. These are, you know, these are trigger dynamics, you know, and must be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Live and direct.
They're the ones that's known for the raping. They're the ones that's known for the pillaging and all of that. They do all that. It's them that do all of that. And the guy supposedly they said maybe he tripped or something, and the girl ran out. Even the girl didn't press charges. It was they were talking about Tulsa. The newspaper put it out there that this is what happened. That's what they believed and ran with it and had something in there. Lynch, I don't know if it was a Lynch and Negro tonight or something like that. And like within hours of that article coming out, that's what a lynch mob had formed. And it was some brothers there who were vets who came to defend Dick Rowland, and supposedly that's what incited all the outrage as well. Like, how dare y'all defend one of your own? We came to hang this nigga. Get out the way. And they was like, we're gonna stand here and protect. We're gonna try to do what we can. And supposedly that's one of the reasons that things jumped off as well.
This is another notch in the belt of long whippings that's been happening to the black people, in particular in colonized communities in general. But again, the deal is the question of power. Because at any given time, no matter how much resources I save, how much economic development, at any given time, someone has at the whim of anyone, whatever quote unquote justification is used to be able to come through and just, you know, smash and grab and pillage and plunder the world. This is a historical reality. We live and direct. I think we got some callers in queue also. Give us a heads up getting any callers in queue. 929-477-3785. Y'all bear with us. Bear with my voice is gone. We're gonna keep going on. Freedom Office coming in.
Muhammad on the line, Freedom Office.
Welcome to Freedom On Radio.
Hey, how you doing, Chairman?
I'm well in this end, brother. How you holding up?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Miss Ali?
You see Miss Ali, the co-host, that's Lady of Rage, the co-host, Lady of Rage.
Lady of Rage, how you doing, Miss Lady of Rage?
I'm finding yourself.
I'm doing good. I wanna first. Yeah, I was listening to what y'all was just saying about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I wanted to add in on that. Like, they bombed like 6 city blocks and killed over 300 people. Like, there's no justification for that. I don't care who was raped, what happened. There's no justification to bomb 6 city blocks and burn 6 city blocks. And my thing is if all these businesses was black owned, did they burn the deeds to the businesses? Like, what? Why? Who owns these blocks now? Who own these businesses now? And how did they receive the deeds if this was Black Wall Street and all of these businesses was black owned? So my thing is it needs to be a real investigation on what happened to these black businesses that got burned. You know, it's one thing for your business to get burned down, and it's another for the deed to not be in your family name anymore.
You know, we go through, you know, I mean, the history of sharecropping, chattel slavery down south, You know, right here, right up north. You know, with the whole thing with the massive foreclosures, the disproportionate amount of homes that were taken through Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and these other mortgage companies and gangsters and banksters. You know, we got horror story after horror story, just even in regards to the campaign to save the childhood home with Chairman Fred Hampton. This is so the question of, you know, again, there's so much of our land and property, our people that, you know what I'm saying, and in so many cases we get caught up with mind you, this is a discussion that people are just not even acknowledging 100 years later.
Right, 'cause I'm not gonna lie, for a while I didn't know about Black Wall Street. Like I found out about Black Wall Street a little bit around the time, a little bit before the game, the rapper took the name and started calling, you know, his label Black Wall Street. And I'm thinking, oh, he must be doing that to bring attention to what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma that day. But, you know, I never really heard no songs or nothing in that. So I'm like, why even take the name? Why you playing with the name if you're not addressing the issues about what happened?
You have any rappers and stuff? You have any rappers with black and all berets on and I mean organizations? I mean people say this and that, and you know, and in fact, like a lot of times you go look at the dynamics of the music industry, like the movie industry, the marketing. There are certain things that can trigger, you know what I'm saying, the psychic of the people. But the deal is, we don't really want you to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a, you know, like want it but don't want it. So it can be in a like you go to them AKC dog shows. You know, like you say, well, if this dog is designed to hunt, why would this dog hunt? You know what I'm saying? But they said no, we just want the image of this particular dog. You know what I'm saying? That we don't really want that dynamic of it. So just touch it on the surface. You know, and the deal is,
So you saying he ain't want that smoke?
I'm saying objectively, we have to look at this objectively because I'm thinking it's bigger than him. It's a whole. You talking about the whole the marketing. See, I'm gonna relate to what the brother Kwame Brown said. I'm gonna relate to what Kwame Brown said about Charlemagne. Kwame Brown said, "No, I want to go bigger than you." Talking about Charlemagne. Do I want to go to the machinery? What's backing you? What protocol is laid down to give this narrative to attack black people? You know what I'm saying? See, we going for the big kahuna. And that's not negate the role that individuals play, but the deal is this machinery is so Machiavellian. The deal is to put, you know what I'm saying, the heighten we must heighten the contradiction to say, wait a minute. You know, there are certain trigger words, certain terms that people may say, and you know, and don't get me wrong, there's some cases, some people might be trying to put the pill in the applesauce. But a lot of cases, the deal is many times when we get certain information, kind of like I said about technology, when we see stuff on cell phones, we late. You know what I'm saying? We get information that's been out, and we only get a smidgen of it. So the deal is with the state, they smell certain moves, like in California, with the crack cocaine, the relationship with the CIA with the crack cocaine. The state knew it. They put certain people and politicians say, listen, get in front of this. Because once the masses start moving, I mentioned Malcolm talking about the March on Washington earlier. The initial march on Washington, the masses of people said, we're going to shut D.C. down. Ain't nothing moving. We fed up. Ain't nothing moving. Ain't no planes. Ain't nothing moving. It's a wrap. The ruling class got their ear to the ground. Ain't nothing coming through our community, whether it be crack or chitlins, that they on crack, cocaine, or chitlins, that this system ain't got his stamp of approval on them, or getting his cut off of. So the ruling class said, dig, stop it. They called a meeting, Malcolm referred to the Big Six, the Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King, A. Philip Randolph, and others. And they met at the Cartel Hotel, which is owned by the Kennedys. And they said, okay, we stop this in the petty bourgeoisie, so we can't stop it. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? We just started. So the ruling class said, okay, let's co-opt it, let's water it down. So there's certain things that started to become bubbling in our community. certain issues, and they can smell it. They say, okay, get in front of it. It's, you know what I'm saying? Get in front of it. Like when the police finna raid the spot. You know if it's a real work in the back. You know what I'm saying? You say, get in front of that, man. Go let them pop you up for that bag of herb, man. Get in front of it. Don't let them get the real hot stuff. So the system, they say, get in front of it. When certain things are coming up, you say, man, wait a minute. My grandmother was telling me about something happened over here on Wall Street with certain dynamics. You know, and a lot of these ideas that come down through our griots and stuff, through you know what I'm saying, conversation. You know what I'm saying? And the deal is be bubbling. And at certain times you can connect the dots. Say, hold on, man, people connected with this here. And the system say, okay, well, we can't stop it, co-opt it. And, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll see who won't.
Crazy said connect the dots too, because when you was mentioning about the rape thing earlier, that's classic CIA tactic. You know, with trying to accuse somebody of rape is either defame you,
Yes.
mess your reputation up, or they gonna try and incarcerate you and frame you like they did your dad. 71 ice cream bars. Who would send somebody to prison for 71 ice cream bars? Like the whole system should have been sued immediately for that. But when you're talking about like the cocaine trade, I remember I was watching American Made with Tom Cruise playing Barry Steele, the CIA agent who was giving all the cocaine to the Freeway Ricky Ross, and they was flying the cocaine into Louisiana at first, and the Louisiana government got whiff of it and they arrested them, but they didn't know, oh, this is the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tom Cruise, you know, he offered everybody Cadillacs, like, you know, I'm about to walk out of here so y'all can take the Cadillac. And then he ended up walking out of there and told them they should have took the Cadillac. But they had to move out of Louisiana, and they moved their operation to Arkansas, where none other, where Bill Clinton was the governor. And he allowed Arkansas, men of Arkansas specifically, to be the hub and the gateway for all the cocaine that was coming in this country during that time. And the crazy part about that is they took the jobs out of the African American community first, and then they sent the Judases with the mink coats, with the Cadillac.
That's good. That's great.
Beautiful women.
I'm glad you put that in context, because like even we need to put it in context. Like Tom always say, we need to go back, and it sounds like stuff that's happening to our community. It sounds absurd when you look back at it. You're like, well, how did this brought drugs to the community? How did this, bomb and this whole 6 blocks? How did this occur? Well, I'm glad you put into they systematically. They take the jobs from the community. You know what I'm saying? The type of dynamic, they brought in, even the politics of it. It's a piece called "Snitches on Frontline," done about 15, 20 years ago, maybe longer than that. And there's a place in Alabama or Arkansas, I can't recall which one. They brought one informant. I think he had receiving 7 kilos of cocaine and about 6 AK-47s. They got through with that city. There was not a black man in that city ever again. Arkansas. Ironically, you just said Arkansas, Bill Clinton, his tenure. And you look how he was able to go, these people are career criminals, able to move forward. And it's one thing looking back and you're like, how can we get duped by these people? But I tell you, go back and look at when they sign these crime bills, look at the Negro support that goes along with it also. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got a saying, the Portuguese could have never kidnapped me without the aid and assistance of some Negro kings. The Portuguese could have never kidnapped me without the aid and assistance of some Negro kings. So it's important. You say they take the jobs out, they starve you. You know what I'm saying? All this is, the type of people they bring in, this is strategic, man. Real talk. So I'm glad you put that in context.
Yeah, it's important to put it in context because that's entrapment. If they didn't create the environment to incorporate the criminal element into the community, and that's like the only thing to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like that's important because that's entrapment. That's legally every single African American that ever been charged with any drug crime should be released immediately because the United States government put it
And say we are fortunate. Say we have a Nuremberg hearing, a Nuremberg trials, where they had in Nazi Germany, where they showed how the ghettos were created and other dynamics. We should also, in those hearings, say we have something like that in our community. You know what I'm saying? With the atrocities that went down with the Operation Weed and Seed on 39th and Cottage Grove, where they came through the projects and kicked through out people's doors and took their homes. The cases, you know what I'm saying, that's been done on the offices of war on drugs. Senator Kirk, when he had a plan or a position to say go lock up 18,000 GDs, you know what I'm saying? But not only should these Adolf Hitler's, Führer Adolf Hitler's and Minister of Propaganda Gropels be acknowledged for their role, which Negroes, you know what I'm saying, were complicit, you know what I'm saying, which individuals, what songs were being played, what news, what narratives. See, all of this is part of the attack. And what narrative what was saying that the churches and leadership was saying, you know, because if I'm acknowledging this, I'm saying, man, I ain't got no job. And so somebody's telling me you have to pull yourself by the bootstraps. And I'm like, man, I'm barefooted. Fuck what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And they beat me on my feet, you know what I'm saying? Shoot me in my back, sticking plunges up my motherfucking rectum. You know what I'm saying? You can't get, it's an attack, you know, your sanity. Like I say, in the movie industry, they call it gaslighting. They call it interrogation in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people say, I look back at the narrative. There's so many Negroes, organizations, and see, a lot of times people get upset. We looking for some more phone calls tonight also, too. A lot of people get upset with me, say, Chairman, you need to say this and that. A lot of times we let shit sit to see what flies attract. We watch, Emil Cabral of Guinea-Bissau or Kwame Nkrumah, I keep forgetting which one I'm saying it. Neo-colonialism is the last stage of capitalism. You look at the dynamic during the Obama administration, go back and look who took what position. You know what I'm saying? And you know what type of laws were able to go down. You know what I'm saying? Look, I mean, a climate would trickle down with you know what I'm saying, with the chief CEO of the most powerful country in the world. Wouldn't even say the word black, wouldn't even acknowledge black people. You know what I'm saying? So that, I mean, the trickle down impact, what was going down, and that, what organizations were raised up, how much growth was stopped. Just to even acknowledge it, like one of the matches, Alcoholics Anonymous, is the first step in addressing the problem, recognize we have a problem. Imagine you go to Alcoholics Anonymous and everybody telling them, man, no, and guys sitting up there with a fifth, you know what I'm saying, guys sitting the 2 pints, and they say, man, everything cool. Like, but y'all know, we in the meeting. That dude is drinking, right? What you talking about? You have to pull yourself up. You have to free yourself in your mind. Don't even acknowledge that fifth don't exist. How much time, you know what I'm saying, the police is gunning motherfuckers down. And people asking you, what did you do wrong? And you know what I'm saying, as opposed to an objective conversation saying, hey, I remember what a merchant, a foreign merchant told me when I was about 8, 9 years old. I'd never forget it. He was asking me, he said, I'm going to put a liquor store right around this corner right here. I said, you got one right down there. He said, oh, it's no problem. We can put many as we want to in y'all community. You know what I'm saying? See, they had a child. It was a big thing about this, I think the Thailand or Philippines. The baby was smoking cigarettes. All on America's Funny Video, like, oh, this baby is smoking cigarettes. That is really something. This is unusual. Where did they get this unicorn type phenomenon? Where did this come from? What can make this little 8-month-old baby smoke cigarettes? This is never seen in the world. Then they went over to the baby's homeland. Forgot where it was, in Philippines or Thailand. I forgot which one it was. When they got there, all the babies puffing like dragons. It's cigarettes every damn way. Then they looked up, it's tobacco ass everywhere. You know what I'm saying? See, you cannot have a conversation negating the extenuating circumstances. You know what I'm saying? I just talked to one of my guys yesterday. This dude is a genius, man. Locked up with this guy. He said, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm in sober 60 days, man. I'm such and such, you know. I'm doing this and that. And it went out. Yeah. So we must, so we got to be upfront about the community or what's going down. But I'm glad you, like you just did, brother, you put it in context. I really appreciate that.
And on that note, I want to give me like 3 minutes. I want to say this. I know y'all got to get the other callers, but I really want to put this out there.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna start off with Operation Fast and Furious. It was an operation that allegedly went awry by the United States government to supply the Sinaloa cartel with military-style assault rifles. they were supposed to put microchips in these assault rifles and track them to the cartels. Well, allegedly they forgot to put the microchips in the assault rifles, so the assault rifles just ended up being supplied to the Sinaloa cartel. So
you being sarcastic, right?
Guys for the
You being sarcastic, right? You said they said it again.
No. This is fact. This is fact.
What, say it again. The last sentence. What you said to me again?
Okay, it was an operation. You can look it up. Operation.
I'm sure. Read it to me again, and then tell me who wrote it. Go ahead.
There was an operation where the government put microchips in M16 military style assault rifles, and they were supposed to track these guns to the cartel. Well, they said they allegedly forgot to put the microchips.
Oh, you added something else. Then you say they said. Okay, I misunderstood you. My sound. I thought you said like it was a factual. Now you're saying that they said, huh?
Yeah, no, they said.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Now we clear. My hearing went out. That's see.
Yeah.
Okay, now we clear. Okay, they said. Okay, there you go.
In Chicago.
God, I thought my fault, brother. I misunderstood. I thought you was telling me about this white dude in the middle of December came down this chimney. And with these toys, you know what I'm saying? You didn't preface it with, hold on, man, this some fairy tale. Okay, so again, they said. Now, okay, we clear. My fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in Chicago, the Sinaloa cartel, one of the head guys named Jesus Zapata, he got popped off by the DEA and the Fed. So the first thing he told them was, I work for the CIA and the DEA.
Mm-hmm.
He said Operation Fast and Furious was not an operation that went awry. It was the United States.
He got popped off or they got through using them. He got popped off or they got through using them. See, popped up implies he was doing something that they didn't know about. He got popped up or they got through using them.
Right.
See, I'm struggling to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? With this narrative.
This was during Obama presidency.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Let's be consistent with the narrative about, you know what I'm saying. You know, we can't switch lanes in the middle of the race. We can't be at the Kentucky Derby and saying the donkey was out here, you know what I'm saying, the church of thoroughbred. We talking the system that people say I can't believe you saying the government sold drugs. They sold us. So let's be. I'm saying this narrative to be consistent. So you know what I'm saying? So that way we don't have a generation of reactionaries who are surprised. I can't believe the police done this. This is all through the history, like I said earlier. This is the modus operandi.
Without a doubt. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm tying this in to the government is still using cartels today to supply guns and drugs. And Chicago has become the hub for the
Why you think the movie El Chapo was not allowed to be played in Chicago? Why they mandated El Chapo could not be played in the mainstream movies in Chicago? Chicago is geographically and politically the artery in the veins. They say the Midwest, the perfect drop-off spot. Go look at the type of music that was, you know what I'm saying, what was being dropped, what was being said. It's not the connection, the correlation. Have you ever a domestic case in Chicago, black people, you will hear them say gang violence. Have you ever heard the superintendent of police in Chicago, any official use the word cartel in Chicago on the case? You never heard them. You never heard them say it. This is similar to the fact that J. Edgar Hoover, former director FBI J. Edgar Hoover, he denied that the mafioso even existed. Luciano was not lucky. Luciano was on an international payroll for the U.S. government. He was even used even for the U.S. to get up into Italy to make their move on Mussolini. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. The terms are important.
I know you can work with state attorneys to set up other mafia people and all type of stuff. Yeah.
But he was created. He didn't turn bad.
I call the mafia the dirty CIA.
They was on a payroll for them. This is what they do. This is what they do.
CIA.
This is what it do. So it's in conjunction. This is with the media, the type, you know what I'm saying, the type of imagery on the TVs, all that type of. See this and this. See politics. Everything's political. Words, terms, fashion. Right. You heard of Sam Giancana? Right. Sam Giancana, him and President John F. Kennedy, amongst other things, had a mistress in common. Right. Giancano's daughter wrote a book. She had to go underground after she wrote the book. She talked about the contradictions. She said, all that stuff they tell y'all about the mafioso, about Coda Mireto, in other words, they don't snitch. She says nonsense. All that loyalty. She said her daddy went out the door good before his security guard was hollering at her mama. You know what I'm saying? See, but the deal is, the type of movies, the type of words, the type of terms, you know what I'm saying? And you tie it back. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not it's a tentacle of the state. The state utilizes, what the deal is, whether it be a Nicky Barnes under the 10-year rule of Giuliani in New York, whether it be a Luciano, you know what I'm saying? These are different dynamics, and the lines have to be drawn. It's not a racist position to say, okay, well, this is an attack on the Italian community, attack on the black community. No, the deal is the conflict have to be heightened to the point, as we've seen in Korea, where Kim Il-sung had drew the line to the U.S. imperialism. He said, oh, the South Korea aligns with the interests of the United States. Well, Ho Chi Minh and Giap in Vietnam, he drew the line and said, oh, the South Vietnamese align with that of the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? In our communities, the lines have to be drawn. And you know what I'm saying? This is what Chairman Mao Zedong talked about, combating liberalism, where this is abstract. We all had the same interest in. A lot of people can pick up our struggles when they're beneficial to them, can pop up and say, I speak for the Black Panther Party. I speak for Tulsa, Oklahoma. No, deal is, it's like you can't pop up at family reunion, you know what I'm saying? We up there getting stuff together, we take care of Grandmama Jones and Papa Jones, doing this stuff, and then you over there hanging out with Smiths, because Smiths got a nice family, everything. We over here hanging out in trailers, we living out, you know what I'm saying? We doing the thing. Then, you know what I'm saying? Then so something come out, man, you know, the Jones been living on toxic ways, they been get messed over. Then you pop, who is that? Oh, you know, we all family, we all together. Hold on, man, but you be at the Smiths. You know, oh, you hating, oh, you tripping. That's the problem, we don't sit together. No, I'm just saying, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We went together when he was on our ass. You know what I'm saying? See, we had saying a lot of people are black when it's beneficial, play Panther when it's profitable, play Cub when it's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We have to heighten the contradictions. And nothing less than a political analysis can do that. A civil race analysis won't do it. It's like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight.
Right.
See, we have to heighten the contradictions. See, and everything we touch is a tactic. We ain't deal with that movie just doing that movie for that movie's sake. We have hashtag William O'Neill was not the only one. We are heightening the contradictions, and they running, you know what I'm saying? People that was, you know what I'm saying, they're constantly being exposed by individuals that was around, or maybe inside the party. Their resume is being coming in. We see, if we do it ourselves, we're going to be like Tony Montana, the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Say, oh, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this person like that person. No, we heighten the contradictions, and we say, come on with it. And now people try to cop please, well, this person don't know, this person don't know. That comes the stage in the games where Chairman Mao Zedong said, blood to the horse's brow. Woe to those who can't swim.
Oh. Right. Right.
Go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you got a couple more things to lay out. We another call in. Go ahead, my brother.
No, brother. All that's a major statement, because we are worst enemy, brother.
Who is we? No, you speaking French or what? What's happening? Who is we?
When I say we, I don't mean me and you. I mean the Judas.
So that's. So we on the football. Let me get this straight. Let me get clear. See, I'm talking about consistency. This team, you know what I'm saying? With the lines, once the lines are being drawn, who is who, you stay speaking. See, I was in, I think, a freshman, maybe in grammar school, and a teacher kept on saying mankind done. I said, whoa, we ain't done nothing. I said, be clear when you say mankind. What man? You know what I'm saying? See, this whole dynamic, I'm real specific about words and terms. This whole dynamic about there's so many, you go through history, there are so many cases where people say a person was black, they weren't even black. You know what I'm saying? The deal is, people the lines, they can hop, you can hop in and say, I'm with this organization, so on and so forth. I'm with there are individuals who they made it very clear that they align with the state. And you know what I'm saying? And so it's demoralizing to give people the impression that somebody betrayed. A lot of people ain't betrayed. You come out there on a basketball game. You say you play with the you play with say you play with the Celtics. You come out there on the game. You game day, and you trying to figure out why the guy with the Bulls you keep holding the ball. You say they talking about we all got jerseys on. I don't understand why he keep taking the ball from me and putting it down the other hill. He betraying us. The referee looking at you like trying to figure out, is you drinking more than Gatorade? The coach tripping on you? And you steady got this idea about we all need to come together and play basketball. Because we all have shorts on. And they say, don't you see here's a different colored team uniform? Don't you see that his goal is a different goal than yours? Don't you see? And you say, no, but I had this idea where all of us can play ball together. And the guy is telling you, listen, man, I'm not here you telling him about, listen, man, you came from the same city I grew up in. He said, man, I got a contract to play with this team. And I have to, and he come past you like, no, man, don't do that, because if you throw the ball, and then you want to explain to him or give him some green juice or you know what I'm saying, or a bean bag, or say, listen, man, if that ball goes in that hoop, that impacts me. He's saying, listen, I'm looking at this contract, the payday for him. And you explain to him, but we all gonna be out here homeless. You know what I'm saying? He trying to figure out what point, your point is what. So let's be clear on this weed dynamic. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? That's the deal. Let's heighten the contradictions. We can't keep going. We can't keep retarding the discussion. But you know what I'm saying? Let's be clear.
People, black people. Yeah, because obviously you had to be black to even be a Black Panther. You know what I mean? So in order to be a Black Panther, the first thing to being a Black Panther was you had to be black. So you can't plant a Judas in an organization that's requiring you to be black. It's almost like the white Masons. You know?
What else do you think is, because in addition to being black, because not an organization, that's all you have to have. What else on this basketball? Let's go with this basketball analogy. Other than having, you know what I'm saying, can dribble the ball, what else do you have to know to be on this team? Because this is important, especially now. I lost my voice the other day with a guy calling me a few days ago, telling me he talking to some Black Panthers. I said, man, what part of Iowa are you from again? He said, man, come on, man, I'm from Chicago. I said, no, I'm not clear. But let's have this discussion. What in addition to being, let's have this discussion. What in addition to being black do you have to be a Black Panther?
First thing I figure you'll need to know that it was founded in 1966 in Oakland, California, where I was born by Bobby Seale, and then 2 years later.
Say it again. I need the people to hear what you're saying. Say it again. Run it down again.
Fred Hampton founded the Illinois chapter in Chicago with his defense minister Bobby Rush, and the number one goal for the Black Panthers was to police the community from the police brutality that was going on and the government conspiracy that was going on against our people. But not only that, but to provide medical, food, assistance, shelter, all different type of things and needs to the community that the people needed. Education, understanding of self, the whole nine. I mean, they was on the verge of creating another Black Wall Street, but not in one specific area, across the whole nation.
I'm still looking for that trigger word. I'm looking for that key word that made the Black Panther Party a different dynamic. What was necessary?
The United States government called the Black Panther Party one of the greatest threats to national security. That shit right there says something way beyond most people's comprehension and understanding. This is a government, pretty much. I mean, I'm going to use the word game, but you could kind of say game, because today's COINTELPRO, they have way more than.
A lot of people gonna be upset. Chairman, why you didn't go in there? I'm letting a lot of when you're sick. A lot of cats on my heels like, Chairman, say this and that. But this is no. These contradictions are necessary. We need these assessment. You know what I'm saying? To come, different assessment to come in. This we have to heighten the contradictions. Hold on, before I let you got to give us that. Then you and the brother who locked up. You supposed to be caught by this case. Is ID number something?
Yeah. And that's what I was getting to.
Okay.
Which is after 9/11, before 9/11, the American government waged wars on other countries. After 9/11, it was this group called Al Qaeda or the Taliban. This wasn't a country. They wasn't backed by a country. They was pretty much a gang, an organization that had became the number one threat to the American security. So when they passed the Homeland Security Act, the Homeland Security Bill, it included all gangs as considered as domestic terrorists in this country. So if you understand how the new law is written, you can be incarcerated indefinite without trial if you are considered a terrorist. They can torture you legally. They can waterboard you. They can use sleep deprivation. They can legally...
Before all the
So when these people... So Johnny...
Okay, okay, because there's another caller coming in. I want to seize the time. Would you get at his case? That the person you want? Go ahead.
Johnny Ray Priester is a victim of this situation going down, and it's because he tried to change his life, and he came up under Chief Malik to organize the kids in the community to do something positive. And Homeland Security pretty much told this man, we like what you're doing. It's awesome what you're doing. But if you keep doing it under that Chief Malik brand, we coming first. And they came for this man. And they had this man, this is the longest sitting inmate in Sangamon County history. They had this man in the county jail for 5.5 years without a trial. If that's not proof that these people can hold you for 5.5 years without a trial, when you're supposed to have the right to a speedy trial in this country.
Give us contact information. I'm going to bring some other callers in too, because I know they give me a heads up on this time. Give us contact information now, or what can people do to be, to bring a light to his case.
Yeah, you could go to Connect Network. You know what I'm saying? Look up Johnny Ray Priester. You can write him. You know what I'm saying? Contact that brother. Tell him hold his head. We still out here fighting to free him. The whole nine. You could go to the War Muhammad Facebook page. We pushing for this dude freedom. We pushing for him to, at the minimum, get a new trial to where the evidence is really looked at, and this man could get a fair trial in a country where we are at least supposed to be able to get that. So his name is Johnny Ray Priester. We need y'all support out there. Everybody that's listening, write him. He's in Pontiac right now, Illinois. Ain't no telling where they gonna ship him. They got him in administrative detention like he a terrorist. They got this man locked down like he's a terrorist. So this is really what's going on in this country, and it can happen to any of us. So don't think you immune. Don't think that it can't happen to you, because it can.
I know we live and direct on Fremont Radio, no doubt. Yes, indeed.
And I appreciate y'all giving me the time to talk to the people too, Chairman Fred Hampton.
Yes, sir. Anytime, my brother. Anytime. We live and direct on Fremont Radio. I know we on timeline. Bring the next callers. Come on in. We live and direct on Fremont Radio. Making history, taking history, and taping history. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., Robin Allen, a.k.a. the Lady of Rage. Fremont.
Fremont, Black Power.
Fremont, Black Power.
Black Power. Fremont.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Black Power, Chairman Fred. This is Crystal Muhammad, the National Chairman of the new Black Panther Party. Black Power, Lady Rage, and all of your listeners. Fremont, yes, I wanted to chime in and give a brief Panther back on this Tulsa situation. As it was stated, there was a 100-year memorial, is what we said, honoring a memorial to highlight the massacre of our people. And this massacre took place over a week, but for days. It was just not a day. It took place for days. There was constant bombing, murdering. It was a whole plundering that took place.
and it was a plundering that took place. They went from house to house. It was a massive planned attack, so to say, by the police, by the state. And I want to tie in the fact that this was actually a war because it happened in Tulsa in 1921, but just a few years before that, it happened in Elaine. It happened, I'm looking at even the flyer that you have up on here. It happened just a few years before that in Springfield. A few years before that in St. Louis. It happened down here in Houston.
It was
in
a crime.
1920s. It happened in Atlanta. It happened in D.C. and in Washington and in Chicago. See, these were acts of war to destabilize the black economic communities that were set up. You know, it was not just because there was some kind of a alleged whistle or rape. It was to destroy these economic hubs that were put in place when our people were self-determined and set up their own communities and had their own hospitals, their own schools, built their own industries. And city by city, where these major hubs were set in place, they were destroyed and attacked, bombed. There was a race riot in Houston in the 1920s. And it started by some soldiers that came back, and one of the soldiers was attacked. In Fort Hood, I believe the name of it was. These race wars launched against black people took place all across America.
Let me interject too.
And it is these wars of the white so-called ruling establishment destroying the economic and independence of the black nation that had been set up.
And let me respectfully let me inject. I want to just add this into it. In many cases, and this is humbling. This is humbling to acknowledge this. In so many cases, there were wars being, if we're going to use the term war, wars waged on us, attacks. Because the deal is, it gets like, even the term race riot, it makes it like there's some people just, acting up at the, unruly of the game or the war, like,
race wars. Race wars.
But I'm saying, in many cases, and I'm trying to bite my tongue without acknowledging. In many cases, there were not even though there were attacks. We should know that there were many cases that we defended ourselves, but there were attacks. Wars give the impression like we say the Crips and Bloods they get down with each other. You know what I'm saying? Fight. These are attacks like some of them that you just mentioned. The 1919. In Chicago, they give these different justifications. In fact, Richard Daley, the mayor of Chicago, was involved in that, and they claim a black brother, a little black Chapo's across the color line at the lake. But like you just pointed out, also this is no coincidence. The time, it's like under Trump's era. Even though all the different white people don't call each other, you know what I'm saying, say, listen, man, you do this move, I'm do this move. But a climate, similar to we had a climate during the Pontiac and Attica and Stateville, the uprisings that were happening. Even, you know what I'm saying? So these were, again, I'm stressing the importance about, because a lot of people think, in wars, a lot of times people have, there are rules of engagement. You know what I'm saying? We say, okay, we're going to fight this, no civil, like when I went to L.A. to deal with the situation with the black and brown community, at one meeting I had stopped the discussion. I said, you know what, game over. And he said, why, Champ? I said, listen, this is bigger than just some situations between black and brown people. You know what I'm saying? We had to heighten the contradictions about in Cochran, how the guards were working with certain individuals. They were putting, you know what I'm saying, 5 Mexicanos, 1 black person on the prison. And I brought it to one brother in L.A. I say, look at the ones who've been attacked in the last 2 weeks. These are school guys and what people call nerds, and these are civilians. So you'll say, this is ethnic cleansing. This is, and they were being backed by the state. They're being backed by the state. So it's genocide, and that's a different dynamic. And when they talk about Nazi Germany, they don't say that the SS soldiers were engaged in battle. You know what I'm saying? With those, you know what I'm saying? In Auschwitz and Dachau, they would say they were gassing them, they were attacking them, and and it hurts me to acknowledge that. But the deal is we are victims. We must be fighting back victims. This I want to put the narrative, because in so many cases, especially right now, people say, well, you have racism among communities. No, we talking about people. There's an attack being waged on us.
That's correct. It's ethnic cleansing and it's nonstop. And systematically, saying, if you look at the map, just look at the map on the flyer.
Yes.
At the same time they start running these highways through these major hubs.
Yes.
They start running
Yes.
highways.
It's more than economic. It's political. There you go. There you go. There you go.
It was to set up. It was to set up these thoroughfares to bust up the economic strongholds. You know what I'm saying? These people. I'm talking about the state. I'm talking about the United States. I'm talking about the so-called white ruling class and all their cronies that work for them. Because just because they black, they'll still be puppet masters by these crackers. Let's just be straight about it. You know what I'm saying? They use every race between black and white in between to do their dirty work. And I got to talk about this weekend in Tulsa because the new Black Panther Party went in. You know what I'm saying? We were aware of what was going on. There was some people that were organizing a march. You know, some of the people who were organizing the march, we've had, you know, contradictions with. You know what I'm saying? So as we were getting ready to head into this march, there were threats made, you know, that our formation attended, you know, folks would pull out. There were threats made that if me and my formation attended, folks would try to physically surround us. And let me explain to you why. Because all of these groups, and even the way this march took place, these marches being coordinated, and they were told how to move and when to move and permitted how to move by the police. And we have been exposing this contradiction about operating with the police and let the police dictate to you how you move and where you move and when you move. And this is something that we have been in bashed, openly spoke out against. That we, as we organize in this formation, we have been direct with who this enemy is. We have had direct confrontation with the police, with the state. And we are not collaborating, and we refuse to collaborate with the police. However, despite the threats being made, we made our presence known, and we're present in Tulsa to be with the people and to honor our ancestors that were victims of this act of ethnic cleansing and genocide. And you are correct, you know. But what I want to say, you know, and this is something we have to elaborate because. Expound upon. There is a lot of co-opting going on, and folks have to be clear as to what is taking place. A very dangerous precedent has been put in place, not just in Tulsa. It happened in Lafayette in October, with the INFAC being coordinated and put on permits and told the route to go and being led by the police. It happened in Louisville. And you have all of these formations with weapons, black people with weapons, looking strong in number, yet they're being dictated to by the police. And this is a very, very dangerous, and it's very embarrassing how this is taking place. And when the threats were made towards me, individuals didn't say, oh, well, we're going to check those people that made the threat. No, it was co-signed, you know, because not only do we have co-opting going on, we have a problem in our community of misogyny. Just because somebody looks tough and brotherhood, we have to really look at what is the message and imagery that you're putting out to the community when a sister is threatened. Not only a sister, not any sister, a sister that leads a revolutionary formation. We are a revolutionary formation in this formation, the new Black Panther Party. We're not trying to assimilate with the pigs. We're not trying to sit at the table and cut deals with the damn establishment in the state. We are clear who the enemy is. We make it known that it's ethnic cleansing and genocide. The day prior to this demonstration, we went back on Bush yet again. This time dealing with the case of Ronald Green. And what you mentioned earlier, it was an attempt to co-opt this demonstration because the people called this demonstration. And the NAACP, the ACLU collaborated with the Urban League, collaborated with the ADL. They tried to hijack the demonstration and went into the capitals and met with these so-called state people who have been covering up the murder of Ronald Green, the assassination, the ethnic cleansing, the genocide of Ronald Green, who was murdered right in 2019. And it was the state that covered it up. The Louisiana Police Department, the governor, all these state representatives. We was on this case since last year when the pictures came out and showed that he was brutalized and that his car was badly beaten, that he was beat to death. And as the video came out, as we started organizing to have a demonstration, we said we would start at the Capitol, go to the Attorney General's office, end at the governor's mansion. But when they tried to co-opt it, we would not allow it to happen. We took the same steps that they set up. We took to those steps, and the people stood with us, and we moved forward to the governor's mansion. And we had an arms line to deal with the people, because last year when we were out there demonstrating for Trey Fellery, who was shot 10 times in the back by the Louisiana police and Ronald Green, it was some Cajun militias out there pointing rifles at us just a couple of days after Kenosha. So we had our shit. We made some crackers get backed up. So we was prepared this time again. So some of the people, some of these young folks, maybe not knowing the level of hostile environment that they had come into, because we had another battle against the police in Baton Rouge in 2016 when Alton Sterling was assassinated, and we had to go toe to toe with the pigs, and they kidnapped 185 of us on false charges and had to let us go, because we would not allow and will not allow the people to be duped. So the way that we move, it threatens those who have no problem with working with the state. And I'm going to be clear about that. And even though it was us and our numbers, and there was another formation, the Southern Regional Blue Black Panther Party. So even though there was 300 or 400 that chose to march and follow the dictates of the police, we stood on Greenwood with the community, us 40 or 50, and we did not compromise. When they came through, we shot out Black Power, but we held our line. But there's a major contradiction going on that must be addressed. Not to mention there's a formation that took place in that, calling themselves the Fred Hampton Gun Club. And we have been challenging that brother that's used that name for over a year now. His name is Taliba Tundi, who is one of the people that made the threat towards me, to stop using the honorable name of Chairman Fred. But he continues to do that. So we've made this, we've made our position clear, and we continue to make our position clear. And I wanted to make sure that for those who think that everybody is falling for this smoke and scream, it's clear that there are those of us who are going to hold the revolutionary line. Smoke and mirrors is what I meant to say. Because just because something look right, it might look good to see a bunch of black people with guns marching, but if you're being dictated by the police on where to move and how to move, that is a problem, and it's an embarrassment.
I think,
as I say,
I said, let me,
stood,
I think,
and I had to drop that Black Power.
Right on, Black Power, free them all. Let me say, right on, welcome for the call, and I hope the previous caller is still online also. I'm honored and humbled to be the international chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs. It's a hell of a job. It's a hell of a job. Tell a war story. When I was held captive in one concentration camp, Menard, same concentration camp that Chairman Fred was in 1969. I was in 1999. His notorious guard named Torville, about 4'5", 4 feet 8, if that, notorious. He was, he was so notorious, his off days was Tuesday and Mondays was like our Fridays. The cats would cook noodles and everything because Torville was off the next day. He was extremely notorious. He had came through what is known as a blind spot before. And he when he seen me, he said, man, all the stuff he did, he said, man, it's finna be a wrap. And in my life, I have to, you know what I'm saying, for the greater good, I pick my moves, and I sometimes wish I didn't have to be held accountable to a structure, to a legacy. There was a situation on a movie set one time. I said, man, I told, and there was a inaccuracy being put out that Chairman Fred did in regards to the structure. I said, no. It's like, I said, we held account to a structure. I said, you have an organizational person. It's the difference between that person, what they want to do, and what they do for the greater good. I have blood in my mouth with so many cases where people come through like it's a motherfucking fad, playing with this motherfucking legacy. Some nefarious, some naive. The reality is, like a lot of these youngsters and different people that, not just youngsters, older cats, people who, some on the state payroll, some ain't, some need to call back to the tax return and say, man, they need their back pay from the state. Who, when people in leadership of different organizations, street organizations, go off for parole, charge, I can't go deal with charge it. Plug it right here. No, this, yeah, up in here. When they go off for parole, it's right up, okay, good, right on. When they go over parole hearings, how the leadership for these street organizations, they're told by the parole board, this type of activities are going on with your membership, and you should see the faces on these guys, like, huh? When the money that these guys are making, and their family said, we ain't never seen that. Our co-host mentioned something earlier about this commission. You know what I'm saying? And all the people talking about, yeah, and they throw out slick terms like the Tulsa remembrance, because it's not slick terms. And people say, a lot of times, people can't understand, why didn't the victims of the actual people go and challenge that and say, man, listen, that's not us. That don't speak for us. I'm going to humble myself to give you two dynamics about this. One, it's humbling to acknowledge. Why is this stopping? Why is this froze up right here?
Should be good. It's the state.
It's right on. It's humbling to acknowledge, and it froze me up on Facebook, okay. It's humbling to acknowledge that that family, the legitimate forces, they're out-resourced, that there's something behind it. Like, you know, the deal is, everything's political. Regardless of what Kwame Brown, you know what I'm saying, who's been exposed in all the countries about Stephen A. Smith, so on. Stephen A. Smith is backed by a machine. Lil' Kim even said it before. They said, what if you and Nicki Minaj is going and just work this out, y'all have a battle. Lil' Kim, who come up out of the machine, she said it won't be even, she's backed by the machine. And the only, as I said before in so many cases, my strength, the people in Tulsa, their strength is the people, the masses. And the deal is, if you breastfeed them, if you spoon feed them, if you keep going to them every time, say, this ain't legit, this ain't right, this ain't legitimate, it weakens. I tell people when they spoil children. I told a sister recently, when you put that breast milk on that grown child's, on his mouth, it's wolves out here that see that. It's gonna be times when you won't be able to cover down on them. The people's muscle, political muscle in particular, must be developed. They distinguish the fake from the fiction. Cats when they go back dope on the block, they watch Telltale Sound, man. They ain't no real. That's not the real. They ain't the real dope there, man. Look at the results of this, man. And it comes, in particular, when you're talking about the legacy of the Black Panther Party, the legacy of Chairman Fred Hampton. You listen to telltale signs about individuals' words they say, how they relate. In wartime, there were times when they talk about like when Harriet Tubman come through, there were certain houses the state created bogus underground railroads. I feel so fortunate to come up in a city of structure, though it's corroded now. Soon as you come into contact with a cat, you have on no colors on, or that's such and such, that's such a, your life depends on it. Life depends on it. So when cats run around playing with these legacies. And people say, Chairman, won't you respond and say this and that? Use the same motherfucking logic these motherfuckers use. You go out there to get a basketball game and a scalper selling some tickets until you step around this alley to this corner, to this backyard to watch the NBA playoffs. You say, you know what, something don't sound right with this here. The same thing you use when you call for the Uber and the guy pulled up with the sounds banging and his hat broke off, you know what I'm saying, in different colors, and one car, the tire running low, you know what I'm saying, and you get a drug paraphernalia up on the windowsill. And so won't you tell that person that's not an actual Uber? There's a definition for the Black Panther Party. There's a definition for Uber. There's a definition for a Chevrolet. Heightened, the conscience must be heightened. It's certain. It was so done during the Black Power movement of the 60s. To this day, in certain cities and certain locales, you can sell that snake oil in. In certain places, you can't sell that snake oil in due to the working legacy of people like that, the brother who that last caller, quote unquote, coincidentally negated to mention. Minister UEP Newton. It was it can be connected to something else he negated to mention.
Right.
And something else he negated to mention. I didn't say nothing to him because the deal is, I need these telltale signs. You know why? My life depends on it. He negated to mention an important dynamic of the Black Panther Party. Ain't nothing antagonistic. We cool, we clear. Why? I can tell what location it came from, all that. There are certain times when ain't gonna be no flyers. Ain't gonna be no internet. When you come through, you pick up on it. Minister UEP never met Field Marshal George Jackson face to face. But it was contradictions occurred. It was armed with that key word that brother negated to mention again. And certain things, cats, you know what I'm saying? People say, well, breastfeed them, food feed them. Not in this thing. I was in Ferguson, Mike Brown town, years back. And I laid out to the sister different dynamics. I said, no, this is who I am. I am Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., the Black Panther, Chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs. Made it clear. Oh no, we had to have all this come together. And when contradictions exist or come up, then people make the person the bad guy. Obama was a necessary dynamic. People say, why you say that? It was a necessary. Certain contradictions are necessary to see back. A guy told me today, he said, man, I'm surprised at certain people. Yeah. I was you the type of cat to go to the pet store, man, and get a goldfish and take it home and throw a leash and a collar around it and say, I can't believe this motherfucker ain't barking and defending my house.
Man.
The writing is on the wall. When cats go to a concert, somebody say, I'm going to see the Temptations of the Four Tops, and they get there and they see these guys dressed a certain way, say, hold on, we at the wrong place. Well, somebody need to make a public statement saying that's not the Temptations. The deal is, there are enthusiasts that say, no, I know Paul Otis, I know Eddie Kendricks, I know Melvin Franklin, I know the sound of that voice. You can't sell it. And there are certain locations that you look and say, wait a minute, you mean to tell me, like I told a guy the other day, you mean to tell me you from Detroit, you know the Motown sound, and you telling me that this guy came and gave you an Eminem song, and you said, well, they both from Detroit, you thought it was the Temptations? You mean to tell me this man, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., is very vocal, who's up, man, this cat, his voice go, he constantly move around, come out the penitentiary, locked up, all paws on the ground, non-stop. State to state, city to city, ain't cutting no corners. You mean to tell me it's a question in 2021? If some group called itself the Fred Hampton Gun Club, you not clear of the distinguished death of Chairman Fred Hampton Jr.? This lady inboxed me. Well, I sent some money and I'm disappointed. I said, yeah. You went past the Save the Hampton House. You went past Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. You win what you're looking for, and it'll do what it do. Cat's surprised. We have a structure, an acknowledgement of that. Even with our adversaries, people say, man, hold on, that's the police, no, that's the feds. That's the CIA. It's acknowledging that, them different dynamics. Because a mistake of just saying, oh no, that's the National Guard, that's the Navy SEALs, that's that man, NAACP. The name itself tells you the name of it. National Advanced Torture for Colored People in 2021. This a dynamic with transportation, social media, all that. Cats can move around, cats catching up with each other left and right. This man, this Chairman Fred, this ain't guy undercut. He ain't had nothing. He not incognito up front.
Oh yeah, Chairman Fred, I negated to mention a very key part that happened Thursday. So when the people decided to take it to the street, the pigs ramped up, got in their riot gear, took their riot guns out. I mean, they shields out, their guns out. You know what I'm saying, to go attack the people. So when the comrades, you know, we suited, booted, you know what I'm saying, when it stood the defense of the people, the pigs jumped their ass back in the car, back in their riot gear, back in their paddy wagon and backed up. You know, they're not used to them being met with people who will defend their people and defend the community. They're so busy.
Is this the same people that's validating somebody using the name of Chairman Fred Hampton unauthorized?
Yeah.
Oh!
I'm talking about in Baton Rouge.
Okay. Okay. Cause see.
No, what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, oh no, that was Brother Kati. That's probably our chief of staff. But no, to lead, we made it clear, and for the world to know, we challenged them at every step. The people who were organizing, we told them this. You know, the man keeps using the brother's name. Not only that, he has some foul play going on.
Even before that, see, I'm gonna be very clear. Ain't no beef. See, if Mike Tyson, what's the guy Whack 100? They say he got really famous after he said Mike Tyson they said Mike Tyson get down on him. I'm real careful to say ain't no beef. Who? You know what I'm saying? The people have to, their political muscle has to get to the point. It's so many times in Chicago. If I count the times that different things popped up, this is such, this group, that group, it didn't even get to me. It didn't even get to me. And it shouldn't. And it's a relationship even with different organizations. People say, hold on, man, that's not the Nation of Islam. Hold on, man, that's not this, that. Even if it's different. Because the deal is, once people start playing with the ecosystem, once you start coming in the jungle and the gorilla saying, I'll let that slide as a tiger. I won't trip on that being a frog. Once the ecosystem offsets, I tell people, when people say like, well, man, my baby daddy ain't shit, my baby mama ain't shit. I say, okay, be careful now. Be careful now, because the ecosystem now. I tell people, say, be careful, even with children. Don't just say, because, so the ecosystem of, you know what I'm saying, even has to be laid out, has to be acknowledged. And that's humbling, because the deal is with that, there are people amongst the frogs and the silverbacks and say, hold on, man, you know what, man? All us ain't silverback capable, man. You know what I'm saying? Quality, man. There's some contradictions here. We want this storm to happen. You know what I'm saying? So who I ain't trying to beat up on the caller before, but you know what I'm saying? The brother said that's just being black. In some places that can suffice. That's good. We black. That's it. That's all. Shit, man. You start dealing with this Chairman Fred Hampton Haiti, Papa Dot in Haiti. It's a different dynamic. Neo-colonial, you start talking about, it's a deal that repercussions come down on people that can just, a lot of people can just, I was just playing, I'm going to take out the name, I ain't going to use the name no more. I don't know, I'm cool, I'm going back to school, going back to my life. It's motherfuckers who still rotting in penitentiaries. It's motherfuckers who still getting cases. And you look at and the deal is, what has to come out too is, this don't take no rocket science. The state know who is who. And this has to come out.
But the people are confused. That's why I'm going to say, we want to wait for the masses of the people to catch up to what's going on with this play that this dude is doing.
I'm not saying wait.
It's going to be
I'm not saying wait. I'm saying heighten the contradictions and also believe me, a brother just told me today. He said I have a different assessment on this one guy that I had 2 days ago. See, this sister called me one day, 2 months ago. She say, Chairman, my husband can't come out to protest with you because coronavirus. I said, come on, sis, your husband wasn't doing shit before the coronavirus. Let's be upfront. Let's be honest about this.
Black power.
So these conditions are necessary to heighten on what's what. So I'm not saying don't do nothing. Heighten and take note and watch what lines, you know what I'm saying? And it hurts because it's going to come out. Family members, people who cool, so on and so forth. But certain places, the conditions don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like I tell people with children, you spoil them too long, you never get to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? And people need to be able to, it's going to be, because the deal is, it's been 20 million, since I got home from the penitentiary, the concentration camp. It's been 20 million and plus different bogus dynamics, you name it. Popping up to, oh yeah, man, I done had cats say they my biological brother, you name it. We had on this movie set, we had to go through all type of fraud, information, you name it. Everybody, when it was, this cat was this and that. It's so many people that was in the house that Chairman Fred got assassinated at. Let them tell it. But a structure checks it. I recall when Kanye, if you go back and look at early Kanye West. I'm talking about pre-B, I'm talking about BK, before Kardashian. Go look what he was saying. His mother was in the Black Panther Party, then his daddy was in the Black Panther Party. What made that change? What made him say he's not from Chicago no more? What made him say he's from Atlanta? A discussion we had with him. Asking simple questions, checks and balances. And we done it in front of the people. And we didn't have him to the cross. The people said, damn. He was so happy to get a place to land. He said, man, listen. Maybe that's why they knew some people in the party. See, I give people a place to land. We heighten the contradiction because the deal is, ain't no team of all these motherfuckers. See, I tell you, when you approach it in the wrong, Minister UEP never use the word split. Never. Because if it's done incorrectly, cats can make a team. You walk on that basketball court, you get to saying the wrong thing, people from the audience, everything, yeah, we with them. Heighten the contradictions. So people start looking at each other, looking and say, hold on, man, I ain't with that. I didn't know this and that. But they also have to check themselves. What was in me or what was not in me that I related to this? What damage, like you say, what damage was exploited? What issues did I have with black people? What issues did I have with black women, black men? We all have contradictions. We all damaged. Did some tap into me to say, man, I ain't never had a gun before, but I'm gonna grab it at the expense of a legacy of one of the most charismatic, courageous representatives of our people? This sister said, one time came out organization. I said, what is this? Well, I just thought the flag looked better by being red, green, and black. I said, oh, you don't say. Have you ever in your life had the power to draw something in your art class? No. So you're going to take what Marcus Garvey gave us, been the Fed penitentiary for, the attack for, you're going to take it for, and so you lie to be gone next month, going through a fade in your life, fade in your life. Deal is heighten the contradictions in a way that it does not deal in absolute force a team. This has to be questioned that people come and say, hold on, man. Because the deal is, imperialism deals with mercenaries and political prostitutes. And they must be distinguished from soldiers. But the contrast has to be heightened. That people start, all type of stuff get to coming out. And there are some that don't mean no harm, some mean harm, whatever the case may be, but it must be done in a way that it does not let people off the hook in absolutes. And also, as Kwame Brown said about Charlemagne, he said, I want the ones also behind you. See, we applying this political peroxide to these sores. All the pus has to come out. Who created the wounds? Who's all this has to come out. This is a discussion. You have to look. I listen to people. When I was held captive, another war story. I don't know how much time I got. Oh, two more minutes. Another war story. It was galleries that was known for certain activity. Can't say, Chairman, won't you just shut it down? Won't you? I said, listen, man. Before I got locked up, I heard about the stuff that happened on these particular galleries. It's known who was who. Richard Speck, Google him. Richard Speck had the paint job. Richard Speck had the job, the case of killing the nurses in University of Chicago. Richard Speck would make the hoosh, run all the galleries around. I heard about Richard Speck before I was locked up. You can Google Richard Speck on YouTube and type him in. He's sitting there with breast implants bigger than Dolly Parton. He's sitting on there with all type of cocaine. So somebody had to say, wait a minute, this is inside the prison. I'm talking about before cell phones, all this. Yeah. You watch the dynamic of the connection, who validated him, his guy was getting medical surgery, getting the pills back back then. So guys would say, man, so I said, hold on, sit back, man. Watch who goes to that on their own volition. And there's a lot of concessions that went on with the stuff that happened with the bandits and the attacks that was going on. We don't get it wrong. We didn't just sit back. We said, hold on. When it comes to these youngsters, man, we had to understand it. Say, they would come and say, man, Chairman, I think you damn right. There were those who were willingly up with it because there was it was a different dynamic. Your toilets worked. The narcotic trade opened, the pigs, guards dealt with you nicely. It was a more comfortable situation. So it wasn't this going out, hey man, this is wrong. Some cats was up with it. And I said, watch. Are you willing to watch to see who is willing? This must be acknowledged. And I know history. Which was exposed to the teller who was the ward. When he get through with him, it's a wrap. When the state get through with him, it's a wrap. Motherfuckers a dime a dozen. But what's consistent is the legacies. I told leadership of one of the Chicago street organizations one time. He said, man, you crazy talking about dying for people. I said, they can't kill niggas like this, man. Legacies live. But also, we should also know it should be laid out. Who did what? As a child, I grew up, everybody told me, I knew your father. I took it for granted, everybody was on the same thing. I'm on with the politics. Soon as you start talking 2 seconds, I know what you was on. That's what has to be laid out. Because the deal is, this exists. Mr. U.E.P. New said contradictions are the ruling principle of the universe. Oh man, I don't want no movie showing about William O'Neill. Yeah. We deal with the real world. We want to see who attracts to what triggers what. And if you got that contradiction in you, you better learn how to curtail it or check it. Or you're on the wrong side of history. But it must be acknowledged. I'm not a dictator. Certain moves I can just come through and say, whoo, man, it's a wrap. It's been a ball. When we get to the Hampton House, cat said, man, Chairman, do you know these cats working for the police that's pushing this drugs upside the Hampton? I said, we're going to heighten the contradictions. They said, we're going to draw. It came out. And once it got to the point where the state smelled they had people on their payroll, their job was to salt the earth of the legacy of Chairman Fred, they started coming at them. Once you start triggering that, notice when Charlemagne gave the apology. Once Kwame Brown said, no, I'm coming at something bigger than you. Whoa, slow down. Get him on. See, heighten the contradictions. That's why Mayor Daley, that's why Lieutenant John Burge, the time, when on my case and I was locked up, Sergeant Joseph P. Grubazak, the one who arrested, the one who led all the agencies to arrest me. When I seen his name in the Black Panther Party paper, I said, that's the same one that was at the station giving a shot calling over all the different agencies. Once I put that in my appeal to bring it back up on him, all of a sudden, he passed away. So these dynamics must be connected, y'all. I got to say this. We got to close out down, but I mean, right on Revolution, love calling in. Y'all, in spirit of making history, taking history, y'all. So I hope and believe me, if I wasn't Chairman Fred, I tell people what I could do personally, oh my God. But as a servant of the people, I tell people, my personal favorite color is red, but I'm black and light blue, Panther blue. Damn! For the greater good. I wish, but again, the people, we have to heighten the con. So as we seen, go look at the track record. It's like a garlic. Once you set certain tone, it's certain families that certain tones they own. That's Papa Jones. You come through. That's like Big Mama too. No, they ain't like Big Mama. Well, she did this. No, she don't. She ordered that food and she catered that food. That's not Big Mama. Well, I wanted to be. That's what's in you that keep on trying to make this McDonald's burger Big Mama food.
Man.
Y'all, we live and direct, y'all. Making history, taking history. Now I'm gonna blame all my co-hosts and the people for my voice still being gone.
That's right.
Sister, we gonna close out. Black Power, I'm glad you could please call back in again. So Chris, you still there?
Y'all got me muted. I'm here. They got me muted.
Okay, you back? Okay,
I'm here.
Okay, right on.
Black Power, I'm here.
Black Power, we got.
You know, I ain't going nowhere, Chairman. You know we got you.
So you're right. It's 8:33 now. I know they looking at me crying to surpass our time at the station here. But again, we here on Wednesday. Y'all call in. I'm gonna get my voice back one day. But it's been an honor. It's been some powerful conversation, and I hope we've been informative. I hope we've heightened some contradictions. And I would love to say that everybody just going as a brother called earlier, just say all we got to do is be black. I wish that was the case. I wish it was the case. Then I get that knock saying this is not utopia, my man. In the real world. In the real world.
Live and direct.
Live and direct, y'all. Black Power, represent that love, y'all. Y'all keep your heads up, eyes open, fist clenched. It's been another phenomenal call. We about to close out, y'all. I am Chairman Fred said too proletarian, revolutionary, intoxicated to be astronomically intimidated. My sister, you before we close out, anything you want to say before we close out?
You can hit us. We can, we standing down with you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Holding the line. Anytime you need us, we here. Support the Fred Hampton House. MBPP.org is how we can be reached. We stand in full solidarity with the POCC, Chairman Fred, Lady Rage, Straight Up Radio, Straight Up Town Radio. All power to the people. Black Power. All power to the people.
Black Power. Keep your heads up, eyes on fist clenched. Y'all, Sister Comrade Daphne, what you got to cover us out with? Oh, I better not go out without saying this. We come on some hell of a days in a minute. Something going on, I think, middle of the month?
Yes, sir.
I think so, June 16th. Sister Comrade, you know anything about that date? Tupac's birthday, somebody else's birthday too. Same day, same year. I can't believe they be able to be 50 years old. 50 years, man.
I can't believe the state let me live this.
I'm trying to tell you. Hey, you gonna ride till the wheels fall off and keep on rolling. It's still the concrete. Real talk. And hey, matter of fact, shit, even in the case of physical, Pac ain't dead. Shit, y'all, hey, they can't kill motherfuckers like us.
Hey, look, that's something that John the Baptist was to Jesus, that Parker is to the Queen.
Man, come on up out of here. Not come on up out of here. Come on up out of here. Y'all get in there. We'll say HamptonHouse.org. The Black Panther Party Cubs website. We coming. Nothing we get on top of the ASAP, y'all. Yes, sir. Man, do what y'all can. Come on, 804 South 17th Avenue. Oh, congratulations to them youngsters who graduated today, y'all, too. Now, don't go up in those schools, y'all, and get their brain drain happening. I told y'all, youngsters, I want to see y'all doing, you know what I'm saying, go up in there, working the machine for them. Mr. European News say take the bourgeoisie skills and make them work in the interests of the masses.
Yes, sir.
There it is.
Hey, Suge, what I tell you, nigga, when I come out of
I tell y'all, not come up out of there, y'all.
start digging into these niggas' chest, right? Watch this. Hey, quick, let me see the binoculars, nigga. Binoculars.
Cubs is coming.
Yeah, nigga, time to ride. Grab your bulletproof vest, nigga, cause it's gonna be a long one. Now, me and Quick finna show you niggas what's like on this side. The real side. Now, the riders gonna be some real motherfuckers and it's gonna be some pussies. Now, the real niggas gonna be the ones with money. The pussies gonna be the niggas on the floor bleeding. Now, everybody keep your eyes on the prize cause the ride get tricky. So you got
Right, we get tricky, y'all.
your friends, but in real life, they're your enemies. Then you got some motherfuckers that say they're your enemies, but in real life, they eyes is on your money. So your enemies just say they're true, but in real life, them niggas are snitches. This is a dirty game, y'all. Y'all got to
Y'all have to learn. You have to get your political muscle up.
cause the shit get wild, y'all. Keep your mind on your business.
You ran down in Crenshaw 1988. You told me, I don't know them between red and blue. All right. It's on you.
Motherfuckers burn 71 to you niggas heard of shit. I'm
Talking about 2021. What's this? Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I don't know them between this and the gun club name. Huh? Where y'all at?
Man.
What? Man, what Ella Fitzgerald say, man, slab a Memorex. You know different, man. He gonna do a concert for y'all, man. You just, picture process, everything.